Hello, my name is John Mottershead. Many of you know me as I probably tutor some of you. If you don't know me, then basically I'm going to do a little lesson here, a little video lesson on how to cope with exam stress. Many of my students have asked me to do this video, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a free video that hopefully can help some of you. If I can help you with one little thing, with a bit of advice from my own life, a little bit of scientific evidence that I've gathered as well, then it's a win-win situation. So here we go. So I hope it does work and it helps you in some little way. So please follow along with me and see what you think. Maybe some of these things you might think, nah, that's a load of rubbish. Fair enough, that's up to you. But maybe there's one thing in here that you think, you know what, that might actually help me. So here we go. Let's see what we can find out. So this lesson's all about mastering exam nerves and stress. You can even open it out to any stressful thing in life. It could be a driving test, it could be anything, at all. Let's be honest, we're all humans and we're all imperfect. We all make mistakes, don't we? And we get very nervous. Nerves sometimes are not a bad thing, but obviously we can get really anxious and sometimes so uptight that it will affect our performance. And that's what I think a lot of people, a lot of you, myself included, actually get worried about, don't we? And we get worried about kind of clamming up and not being able to perform at our best, like it says here. So this is a practical guide to understanding exam anxiety and performing at your best. You've got this. You really have. You're in control as well. Okay. Now I just think back to when I was younger, doing exams and things like that. Even to do with sports things as well. When I could be more relaxed and not so kind of tightly wound up like in a coil, I tended to perform better. But I do think a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of stress is okay, but it's when it goes too far. So let's have a look at this. So your feelings are valid. So it's true, isn't it? It's normal to feel nervous. I remember reading a book once. One of my favourite football players as a kid was Brian Robson. He used to play for Man United. And he said he used to look around the changing room, and if he looked and some players were like shaking in the corner, too nervous, he said he'd be worried. If he looked in the other side of the changing room and some players would be like not nervous at all, really overconfident, he'd also be nervous. He said the ones who tended to play better were the ones who were quite nervous, but not too nervous or not nervous at all. So he said, like it says here, it's normal to feel nerves. The reason he said that was, he said that the ones who didn't care, didn't think, they were too overconfident, they tended to not perform well. The ones who were too nervous couldn't do anything because they were too nervous. But the ones in the middle showed it was important enough for them to be a bit nervous, because nerves are normal, aren't they? And they were the ones that tended to play and perform to their maximum. And I've always remembered that, and I agree with that too. So let me just read you this then. So exam nerves affect nearly every student at some point, and I remember that from my own life too. These feelings don't mean you're unprepared or incapable. No, not at all. So even if you've prepared a lot, obviously preparation can help, but you're still nervous. It's a nervous thing, isn't it? If you've got to kind of get up in front of hundreds of people, for me to do this video, I'm a bit nervous because, I don't know who's watching it, but at the end of the day, just get on and do it, So having nerves simply show that you care about doing well, and that's the point, isn't it? So understanding your own anxiety, my own anxiety, is the first step to managing it effectively. So throughout this presentation I've prepared, we'll explore practical strategies to help you to transform this nervous energy that you may have into a focused performance. We're going to learn scientifically backed techniques, and I've got a video to show you that as well. I'm not a scientist, I'll be honest, you'll know that quickly anyway, and if you know me, you know I'm not a scientist, but I've got a video that backs up some scientific evidence, that shows how different things work in our brains and things, which I don't really understand, but it makes sense, so hopefully that can help you too. But I do know, for instance, that breathing exercises can help us, like even, I remember someone saying to me once, if you're panicking, if you're in a situation where you're hyperventilating, whatever, just by literally breathing in and saying to yourself, calm, just try that as well. Do it 10 times. Calm can actually bring your heart rate down and can calm you down as well. It's easier said than done if you're in a high stress situation, but it can help as well. but also revision methods as well. They can all help reduce stress. One of the things I used to do when I used to go to boarding school, I remember we used to have French tests in the morning, and my life, could I not remember the words? So me and my friend, we used to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning when we felt our brains were more alert, more alive, and we'd test each other on the 10 words. And you know what? It actually worked. We used to get 10 out of 10. And I was rubbish at French. Anybody who knows my French accent will know that I am rubbish at French, not très bon, and it's very true. But doing that helped me immensely. So that's another factor as well. Maybe, you know, in the morning, a little bit of last minute prep there. Again, it might not work for some people, but that did work for me. So can we understand the nerves factor then? And a lot of it is understanding our own bodies, isn't it? Our own minds. So for instance, your brain on stress. So exam anxiety triggers your body's natural fight or flight response, which we'll show in the video in a minute. This isn't a weakness. It's an ancient survival mechanism that's trying to help us. So we kind of panic on purpose. Our heart starts to race, doesn't it? Shaky hands, maybe sweaty hands, butterflies in the stomach. These are all caused by adrenaline. They're not signs of failure, just your body preparing for action, isn't it? I've heard of stories where women who had a little baby say, what was it? I can't remember exactly the story, but she was pushing a pushchair and something happened anyway, or someone needed help. She managed to literally scale this like 2-story building. Apparently she said she'd never been able to do anything like that before in her life, but because of the adrenaline in her body, it just made her like basically get up there quickly. So this is really true. Adrenaline can do amazing things, but it can also make us nervous. Energy, not enemy. A small amount of stress actually improves performance. Again, I mentioned that earlier with a Brian Robson analogy. The key is learning to channel those nerves into focused energy rather than letting them overwhelm you. So it's your friend, it's not your fish. Are friends, not food. So like this, stress, a little bit of stress can be helpful. It's not an enemy, okay? So try and remember that. It's not, again, it's easier said than done. So reframe the fear, okay? So your nerves aren't your enemy. They're fuel waiting to be channeled into success. So can we reframe that? Can we channel that little bit of fear? I don't know why it says fear twice there, but anyway, it was very scared, into something positive as well. In fact, we're going on to that now. So challenge your negative thoughts. So things like negative self-talk. If you said this kind of thing, I'm going to fail, I'm going to quit, everyone's better than me, I can't do this, my mind will go blank. No, reframe it. I always use the analogy of a glass of water. If it's half full, say it's half full. Don't say it's half empty. If you're saying it's half empty, it's negative straight away. It's half full up. Come on, be positive. So you can be positive. You're not going to fail. I've prepared well. I can do my best. I'm capable and ready. I know my material. But obviously you have to prepare it to know that. So your thoughts can really shape your reality. So when you catch yourself thinking negatively, pause and consciously replace it with something realistic and encouraging. This isn't about pretending problems don't exist. It's about not catastrophizing situations before they happen. So in other words, half the things you worry about never happen. It's true, isn't it? I remember my teacher telling me that when I was a kid, and I turned around and said, but half the other things do happen, miss. And she went, shut up, John. And I was like, true. But it's very true, isn't it? So half the things you worry about never happen. So be positive. This picture of this kid here, like kind of meditating, breathing, thinking, you know, we can do things like this. So another help I find in my life is praying. Now, a lot of people would laugh at me or ridicule me for that. A lot of people wouldn't. But again, it's what helps you. So I mentioned the breathing technique, prayer, like this girl in the picture. So inhale slowly for 4 counts. Breathe in slowly for your heart, it's making me tired. Fill your lungs completely, hold your breath for 2 counts, so 1, 2, exhale, breathe out slowly, steadily for 6 counts, repeat until you're calm. And it really helps. It helps physically as well, because it gets more oxygen into your body, into your blood. Fills your lungs with air as well. It helps regulate your nervous system as well, and it releases tension. And it does make you feel the difference immediately. If you're feeling nervous, try this. Maybe screenshot this page. Save this video somewhere, I don't know, so you can watch it again. And hopefully it will help you. I really, really, really hope it helps you, because that's the whole point of this video. If it doesn't help you, I'm sorry, but I'm trying my best. I think it will. I think it will. This has helped me in my life So if it can help you, even if it's not an exam, anything, then great news. Then I will regard it as a victory. So that's good. Give something back for it. So the power of preparation. Prior preparation prevents poor performance. My dad always told me that, and it's true, isn't it? So prior preparation prevents poor performance. So if you prepare, it's going to stop you from having a poor performance. You think of any sports person, footballers train all week for the game on Saturday, don't they? Athletes, I remember reading Sebastian Coe's book. Wow, he didn't become an Olympic champion by luck, by just waking up thinking, I'm going to run this race and it'll be great. He used to train. He used to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and run on the moors in the Peak District in freezing cold weather. But this trained him. So prior preparation, and then he ended up becoming an Olympic champion. So it's a good example, isn't it? So the night before, the morning of, did I turn that over? Okay, power preparation, sorry. Confidence through readiness. So the single biggest source of exam anxiety is feeling unprepared. It's true, isn't it? You can prepare and then get on the day and you think, oh no, I should have done that better. Well, that is our own fault, isn't it? So when you know you've done the work, your confidence naturally grows. Over preparation isn't wasteful. It's the antidote to underconfidence. I'll repeat that. Over preparation isn't a waste of time. In fact, it's the antidote to underconfidence. So say you've got to give like some sort of public discourse, and you practice it, or you've got to read publicly, and you read it once, and then you get up there and you start messing up with the words a little bit. Could you have read that a few more times? Could you have read it maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 times to prepare? You could have, couldn't you? So, okay, you might wing it and do it okay the first time, but over preparation isn't going to be a waste of time. It will actually, and it should help you, and it normally does, doesn't it? Now, this doesn't mean studying every waking moment. It means having a clear revision plan, sticking to it consistently, and knowing that you've genuinely covered the material. That certainly is incredibly calming. It's true, isn't it? Listen to this quote. Success is where preparation meets opportunity. The exam is your opportunity. Preparation is entirely in your control as well. So students with structured revision plans report significantly lower stress levels. So in other words, 85% of students who prepared well were less anxious. That still means that 15% of them were anxious, and some people are just going to be anxious anyway, aren't they? I used to prepare for my exams, but I was still anxious. You're still going to be anxious a little bit, aren't you? But if you prepare, you're going to bring that figure down a little bit. So that's very important. Now, this is important too. So again, these are all factors that can help. Now, I know sometimes I talk to my students and they tell me that they're really tired. And I think, well, what time did you go to bed then? And like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, ah. Now, listen, I'm not a scientist, but I know that going to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning and then waking up at 7 o'clock in the morning is not great. You're going to need a full night's sleep. So if you've got an exam, having, like it says here, so the evening before an exam, can you finish revision, say, by 8 p.m? Prepare everything, pens, calculator, water bottle, student ID, whatever it is, correct equipment, light revision only, no cramming, relaxing activity before bed, okay? Then get proper sleep. So a good 8 or 9 hours of quality sleep, if you can, obviously. Your brain consolidates memories and information during sleep. Cramming all night sacrifices the very thing that helps you remember. So sleep can do wonders for us. And then the exam morning as well. Have a nutritious breakfast with protein and slow release carbs. Avoid excessive caffeine. Maybe a glass of water is good. Leave home with plenty of time to spare. Arriving rushed increases anxiety dramatically. So for instance, if the exam starts at 9 and you know if you leave at a normal time you'll get there at 8:30, then do that. Don't leave it to the last minute. Make sure you know the route as well, I would say as well. And then just before the exam, try and avoid panicky classmates who haven't done these things. So show them this video, who are cramming or sharing worries. Find a quiet spot, practice your breathing technique and remind yourself, I am prepared, I can do this. As well, I know this sounds horrible, but sometimes, don't forget, kids are quite competitive, aren't they? I used to be, not a boffin, but some of my mates were boffins, and I think sometimes they used to try to kind of lull you into a false sense of security, because they want to beat you at the end of the day. So, and that's what I used to find anyway at my school. So these can be helpful tips as well. So sleep is very important as well. Plan to reduce panic. Structure and organisation are the enemies of stress. Control your schedule, control your anxiety. So write things down. I remember when I used to, my first job I used to not write things down, and I was told, write things down. And do you know what? I write everything down now. And it does help. It does help. I'm very messy, as you can see. But I can see where I'm doing things, and then normally it just makes me miss less things and make less mistakes, hopefully. Create a realistic revision timetable. So balance is essential. So a good revision timetable isn't about filling every minute with study. It's about creating manageable, focused sessions with adequate breaks. Rest isn't laziness. It's when your brain processes and consolidates information. So it is important to rest. Include specific times for hobbies. When you think of the word recreation, it actually means recreation, doesn't it? So if you have recreation, in a way you're kind of recreating yourself, recreating your brain. So doing these things and exercise and seeing friends can help you, can't they? Students who schedule downtime actually perform better because they're not burnt out. Your timetable should feel challenging but achievable, not overwhelming. Now, I've taught a lot of Chinese students in my time, and I'll tell you what, they're the ones I've taught, absolutely fantastic. Very, very intelligent children. I'm a bit worried about some of them though, because their timetables were crazy, and I do feel that a lot of them are running the risk of being burnt out, but they're so focused, their parents are so driven and so focused on passing exams that they don't leave any room for anything else. There's not a lot of balance in their life, and it does worry me, but obviously I'm not their parent, so I can advise, but they do what their parents say. So, like for instance, I used to teach a student that used to get up at 6, start studying at 7, be at school for 8, 8:15, study from then until 3:30, get home for 4, do homework till about 6 or 7, then have private lessons till about 9 o'clock at night, and then a little bit of dinner, and then bed, and then it all repeats itself. And then I used to say to them, what are you doing on the weekend? Now, I felt bad as a tutor because obviously I want them to learn my subject, but I could also see that there wasn't any balance here. And they'd be saying, well, you know, I'm doing more homework, I'm doing more study. And I was like, well, what about, are you going to play badminton? Are you going to go swimming? No, nothing. And I'm like, And so, now don't get me wrong, they're very intelligent kids, but burnout is a big problem. And that's what I thought anyway, but that was just my opinion. And it agrees with this slide anyway. So here's an example of a weekly balanced example. I'm a very big believer, by the way, in balance. So, you know, for instance, if you're an adult and you're going to have a drink, yeah, have a drink, but in moderation. Don't go crazy, don't go nuts. So, you know, Eric Cantona used to be at Manchester United. He was the fittest player at United, and he said the players couldn't understand it because they all did the same exercises, they ate the same dinners, but he had one glass of wine with every meal, and they think it was down to that. So he said, oh no, I don't have too much, I just have one glass, and that was it. And so again, moderation. So that's my take on this anyway. So look at this, study sessions 15 to 20 hours a week, school time 25 to 30 hours a week, sleep 56 to 63 hours a week, meals and breaks 10 to 12 hours, exercise 3 to 5 hours, social and hobbies 8 to 10 hours. Everything has its place, doesn't it? That's an expression from the Bible, right? So you're a human being, you're not a revision machine. We're not robots, actually, are we? We are humans. Yes, we are all individuals. So remember that, it's very important. Little and often, the science of memory. So this is science, there you go. So distributed practice wins. So short, frequent study sessions, 25 to 50 minutes, are scientifically proven to be far more effective than marathon cramming sessions, like we used to believe 20, 30, 40 years ago. Your brain needs time to process information. The Pomodoro technique, work for 25 focus minutes, then take a 5-minute break. After 4 Pomodoros, sounds like a little football thing we used to do, take a longer 15 to 30 minute break. This maintains concentration and prevents mental fatigue. Prioritize your weaknesses. It's tempting to revise topics you enjoy or already understand. Resist this. Focus most energy on your weaker areas. That's where the greatest grade improvements happen. So that's true as well. Some great tips here. Hopefully, are you seeing maybe one thing you could try will help you here. Revise actively, not passively. So simply rereading notes is the least effective revision method. Your brain needs to actively work with information to remember it properly. Watch a video like this. Could it help you? Yeah, it's easier, isn't it? You can have a cup of tea, have some ginger nut biscuits, your favourite biscuits, laugh at my hairstyle, whatever you want to do. But as long as you're remembering these things, that's great, isn't it? So active recall and flashcards. Test yourself constantly. Use flashcards with questions on one side and answers on the other. Apps like Quizlet work brilliantly. The harder you have to think to remember, the stronger that memory becomes. Past papers. So that's good. You can download these normally free of charge. The absolute best revision tool. Practice under time conditions to build familiarity. I'm a football coach as well, and we used to train. I say to the kids, train like you're in a game. Why? So when you're in a game, you're already used to it because you've been training like it. So revisions like that. Revision past papers, exams. So reduced, and it helps reduce exam day anxiety. You'll recognise question patterns and mark scheme expectations. What are the examiners looking for? That kind of thing. Teach someone else. If you can explain a topic to a family member or a friend in simple terms, you truly understand it. So what I recommend is after this video, if you're a youngster, you've got a parent or you're a husband or a wife, you know, if you're an adult watching this, fine. Explain it to your partner, explain it to your brother or sister, explain it to your mum or your dad. Say, John spoke about this. They'll say that's a load of rubbish, and then you can say, well, I'll try it, you know, and try something that you've learned from this video, hopefully, that can help you. And again, like I said, there might be 10, 20 things in this video. You might think 19 are no good, but if one is helpful and it helps you, then I'm pleased. Teaching forces deep comprehension, so understanding, and reveals any gaps in your knowledge. So what about the day of the exam? Master the paper. So read the entire paper first, isn't it? The habit or the tendency is to just crack on straight away. But if you can, try and read it first. Spend 2 to 3 minutes scanning the whole exam. This prevents nasty surprises, helps you allocate time wisely, and ensures you don't miss compulsory sections. Knowledge is power. Read each question carefully. Identify command words, describe, explain, evaluate, compare. These tell you exactly what type of answer is needed. I played a quiz game the other day and I got a question wrong and I was really annoyed. And then I looked at it and I was like, oh, I read it the wrong way round. So it's so true. Read the question properly, because I was reading it, tell me something that they didn't do, but I read it wrong and it was something they did do. And I was like, I knew that. So it's really annoying when that happens, isn't it? So a brilliant answer to the wrong question earns 0 marks. Plan longer answers. For essays or extended responses, take 1 to 2 minutes to jot down a quick bullet point plan. This is a good idea. This prevents rambling, ensures you hit all mark scheme points, and keeps your answers structured and logical. And you can even, what I would do is just maybe tick them off when you've done it as well. So you're writing, and tick off that thing. Then you know you've covered all the points as well. So that's good. Time management. This is really important. And I don't know what I've written at the bottom here because I've forgotten now. I've messed this slide up, sorry. But I know about time management. So, very important. Roughly spend the number of minutes equal to the marks available. A 10-mark question gets about 10 minutes. Not always, but this prevents you from spending ages on low-value questions. So, yeah, if there's a question that's got 1 mark, they're looking for one thing normally. So, what's your name? John, 1 point. Correct, yeah. Don't spend 10 minutes going, is it John? Is it? I don't know, I can't remember. What did my mum call me? My middle name? That kind of thing. Don't get stuck. Hit a brick wall, move on immediately and return later. That's a good tip. Okay, so if there's a question you can't remember, you're stuck, leave it. Go on to stuff that you can do. Come back to that later. Leaving a blank space is far better than wasting 15 minutes on a 3-mark question whilst ignoring the 12-mark question at the end. That's so true. If you finish early, resist the temptation to leave. I remember when I was a kid, people used... I keep saying kid, you know what I mean? Sorry. When I was younger, a young man, and people were leaving the exam after an hour, and I was like, where are you going? I stayed there right to the end, double checking, and then also if you've missed any, you can go over them as well. Check calculations, spelling as well. Simple mistakes are incredibly common and easily fixed as well. Wear a watch to the exam, don't rely on the clock as well, and make sure you check what time the exams start as well. Don't do what my wife did once and she got the wrong time and then she was late and then she was all panicky and flustered as well. She still passed. She's a boffin. You are more than a grade as well. So this is very true as well. Funny enough, like it says here, your worth isn't a number. So I just saw a video about the creator, Dave Fishwick, his name was, The Bank of Dave. And he's done incredible things in business. And he said he didn't have any exams or qualifications when he left school. He became a multi-millionaire. And he's done some amazing things. So it just goes to show you, although obviously I'm trying to help you pass exams here, it isn't the be all and end all, and you can take them again, you know. So your worth isn't a number. Your character You're a kind person if you are creative, resilient, and future successes are not determined by a single exam result. You are so much more than a number on a piece of paper. Of course, GCSEs, IGCSEs, they're important. Yes, they do. They open doors and create opportunities, but they don't define your intelligence, your potential, or value as a person. Some of the most successful, fulfilled people didn't excel in traditional exams. I think Richard Branson, people like that, didn't do great. Look at them now. What truly matters is effort, growth, and never giving up on yourself. But if you prepare well and do these, I reckon you'll do better. So focus on effort. The only thing fully within your control is the effort you put in. If you genuinely try your best, be proud regardless of your final mark. Okay. I used to do that when I was coaching. If my team lost, but they came off sweating, I'd be like, okay, I don't like losing, but you tried your best. If they didn't come off sweating and they didn't try and they kind of didn't care, then I'd be a little bit upset. But if they gave their best, then what else can you ask for, you know? Self-care is essential. Schedule fun, exercise, healthy eating and sleep. A well cared for body and mind perform infinitely better than an exhausted, stressed out one. And that is so true too. Your exam success toolkit. So before exams, create realistic revision timetable. Use active recall methods. Practice past papers under timed conditions. Prioritise weak topics. Sleep well and eat nutritiously. Manage your nerves. Practice 4-2-6 breathing techniques, remember, etc. Challenge negative thoughts. Remember, nerves are normal and manageable. Avoid panicky classmates pre-exam. That probably was me, to be honest. Arrive early and prepared. And during the exams, read the entire paper first. Identify command words carefully. Follow the marks equals minutes rule. Plan longer answers briefly. Move on if stuck. Return later. Check your answers if time remains. Okay, so very, very important. Again, maybe make a screenshot of this, print this out. This is good advice. Let's have a watch of this video which I found on YouTube, which is fantastic, by the way. Have a watch of this too.
Exams are stressful, but stress doesn't have to take over your life. If we understand the science of how it works, we can make it work for us. When faced with a potentially stressful situation, angry parents, driving tests, or yes, exams, the danger sensor in our brains, the amygdala, is activated. This alerts the nearby hypothalamus, sending a long-range message via the pituitary gland to the adrenal glands, which secrete the hormones adrenaline and cortisol into our body. Adrenaline increases our blood flow, speeding up our reflexes and sharpening our senses, and cortisol releases glucose, giving our body vital extra energy. This response, known as fight or flight, is our body's way of preparing us to tackle big challenges. But when stress levels get too intense, they can trigger negative symptoms, like difficulty focusing, tension headaches, nausea, and disturbed sleep. The good news is, scientists are working hard to figure out how we can keep our stress response balanced and healthy. Some cultures have used slow breathing to aid relaxation for centuries, and now scientists think they know why. Inhale, now exhale slowly. When we slowly exhale, the signals that control our heart rate are altered, making our heart beat more slowly, and a reduced heart rate helps us relax. Another trick is exercise. When we exercise, our bodies release feel-good chemicals that work in the same way as painkillers do, lifting our mood, reducing anxiety, and helping us to sleep. And sleep is especially important before exams because it helps reduce stress even more. Another area that scientists are investigating is socialising. Believe it or not, locking yourself away in your room for weeks on end is not good exam preparation. When revising, we should make some time to hang out with friends and family, as socialising is a scientifically proven relaxation booster. Scientists have been looking at our close cousins, chimpanzees, for evidence. When they tested chimps' urine, they found that levels of stress hormones were much lower when they'd been spending time with their chimp friends than when they'd been alone. And it seems the same is true for us. So, as your exams get closer, remember, a little bit of stress is no bad thing. Just follow our simple tips and you can take control, getting the right balance that works for you.
Yeah, that was a great video there from the Physiological Society there, so thank you for that. They just basically filled in the missing gaps from the scientific terms that I didn't know. But it's true, isn't it? That was some great advice there. So
Exactly.
Thank you for that. So, some If you want to give yourself some homework questions, you don't have to do this, but maybe can you explain in your own words why exam nerves happen and why a small amount of stress can actually be helpful for performance? Do you remember that? So review the video, go back and watch it again if you can't remember. Can you describe the breathing techniques? What is distributed practice, etc.? What does active recall mean? Imagine you're in an exam and you've spent 10 minutes stuck on a difficult 4-mark question. What should you do and why? Create a realistic one-day revision timetable that includes study sessions, breaks, meals, exercise and leisure time. Explain your choices. Actually, do number 6 for yourself. If you've got exams coming up, do that. Look at the example I showed you in the presentation. It doesn't have to be that one, obviously. Do something that suits you, but that gets you to do the revision that you need, but also adds in the other things too. And remember, balance is important. And estimate model answers if you want to check it as well. So I won't read all these out, but if you want to pause and check, if you wanted to do it as like a little test to see how you did as well. But it's up to you. This isn't really a lesson like that as such. It's more of a kind of a helpful thing, really. I know when I was younger and I did exams, I did get very nervous. So if something like this was around, it would have helped me at the time as well. If you want to do a little worksheet as well, again, maybe if you're a bit younger, you might want to do this as well. Draw or write about one strategy from today's lesson that you found particularly helpful or interesting. Why did it stand out for you? Hopefully there's something. What 3 things did you learn today about exam stress, revision or performance that's maybe surprised you or you want to remember? This might help you to remember this as well. And if you do suffer from a lot of anxiety and exam stress, maybe do a little action plan. Maybe choose 2 specific techniques that you will commit to trying before or during the next exam, and then see how you did afterwards. Did it help you? Positive self-talk. Write 3 positive, realistic statements you can tell yourself when you feel nervous or stressed out at exams. So you could say something like, I'm prepared, I can do this, I do this, you know. So I know with myself, sometimes I have to give like a public discourse where I have to get up in front of people and my knees are knocking. I'm very nervous. And I think to myself, look, I'm amongst friends, I've prepared really well, let's go for it. You know, that kind of thing. So everyone's different, okay? List people you can talk to if you're feeling overwhelmed. Maybe it's your family or friends or teachers or counsellors, whoever. Remember, asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. So even if you want to put something on the comments here, be nice if you want. If you do, don't be cruel. Obviously this is well intentioned, but you know, if you put something, I'll try and answer it in a nice way and give you some advice if you need any help as well. So, you know, but again, we've all got friends and family that we trust and rely on as well. Can they help you as well? Can they offer you any good advice too? Hopefully they can. So I think that's the end. So that's the end of my little presentation. I've put this up on YouTube. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe, I'll do more videos then if you subscribe in the future as well. There'll be more free videos coming out in the future on hopefully some topics like this that can be practical and help you. My life, I just looked at my office in the background, it's messy. Sorry about that. Anyway, have a great day everyone and take care. See you later, and I hope this video helped you in one way. Thanks for joining and look after yourself, and remember, balance please.